And starting recording.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Cut.
There's an echo.
Echo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week of Wrestling Chatter here on Wrestling Reality Rundown. I am the Red Standard, and I am being joined here today by Mr. SKF Effect and by a returning Live1122. How are you two doing this week?
I am fan-freaking-tastic this week.
Wonderful.
Well, I'm glad you guys are doing great because this week in wrestling hasn't necessarily been a newsworthy one, but except for maybe one item. But
God,
maybe we should probably start with apparently there's a big return that's being discussed.
God,
name is Jinder Mahal, who's approximately coming back soon, wanting to main event WrestleMania. I think that's the big return everyone's kind of looking forward to, I think.
I know he is positively one of your favorite superstars.
Okay, I shouldn't have brought it up. Okay,
Cut.
I shouldn't have brought it up. But of course, we are talking about a certain WWE backstage segment that ended with CM Punk, Phil Brooks coming out. Phil Brooks, former WWF champion, former Intercontinental champion, former tag team champion. He was around the WWE for a while, like early on, but he made a big return on WWE backstage. But apparently, this is not a WWE deal. This is a Fox deal, strictly a Fox deal, and WWE gave their blessing to to Fox to hire CM Punk. It's being reported that Punk is going to be coming in as a regular, maybe not every week, but he'll be one of the regulars, much like Paige is, that'll be on the show from time to time. But any thoughts on this news? Apparently, of course, a lot of people weren't expecting Punk to ever work for WWE again. This isn't WWE, so this is kind of his way of stepping into the professional wrestling world, which he stepped away from for 5 years, I believe, 2014, almost 6 years, because that was January 2014. Your thoughts when you saw, CM Punk associated with a WWE product again?
God, Caesar, take a breather, dude. Jeez. Ugh. So, Punk returning, everyone flipped out. I know Ichiban passed out at the sound of the music. I appreciate more the realism that I don't think people like Paige knew what was happening. So you could sense her surprise when the music hit, and even she's like, no, is this a rib? Is this a rib? And then out comes the Punk, and he gives a little tagline, when you think you have all the answers, I change the culture. He's back working with WWE. And I know a lot of people try shooting down the hopes and dreams. Oh, he's employed by Fox, not WWE. But here's the thing. If Fox sees that Punk equals ratings, which he could, I'm not going to say he will, he could, Fox is going to tell Punk, hey, we want you on SmackDown. We want you doing commentary on SmackDown.
Can I wear your blazer?
You can even wear Triple H's blazer. And Punk's probably going to go because Fox will probably also add an extra 0 at the end of whatever paycheck he's getting. It could be a good thing. We'll see. You know me, I've never really been the biggest Punk fan, but hey, if it helps WWE, it helps Fox, helps ratings, kudos. Liv?
I agree. I'm not.
Meh.
Yeah.
Excitement in the air. But I'm going to echo Steven's statement.
CM Punk is back. Yay! There's your excitement.
I'm going to echo Steven's statement, though, about, of course, this has to be more about ratings thing, because if you remember, the first episode drew, 40,000 viewers, I believe, which, for 11 p.m. on a Tuesday night, I mean, I think it's a little bit asking too much, but, of course, people are going to be curious as to, what CM Punk says. Anytime, he ever does, an interview, a lot of people go crazy for it. So, of course, Fox sees the value in having someone like a CM Punk on their show. But of course, Punk being a part of this show, like we were saying, like, of course, it's Fox that he's working with. Eventually, where does that lead the door open for a return to WWE, as you said? Because, like, we've seen a lot of people that said that they don't ever want to work for WWE again. We've seen guys like Bret Hart or the Ultimate Warrior, but eventually, Vince ends up getting him back onto their family. So it'll be interesting. Yep, exactly. Anything for money, anything for viewers. So
$1 Million Man used to say, "Everybody's got a price."
So those are kind of my thoughts on the CM Punk thing. Because, like I said, at this time, it's just there isn't much other than he's just doing a show on Fox. It's not on Fox Sports, the talk show. He's not going to be on SmackDown. He's not going to be on Raw, nor do I think, at least right now, he has any interest in doing that. But who knows? Maybe eventually he'll get that bug to do it. Although I feel, he's a smart guy, so I think he knows like how all of that would work. So
I mean,
it'll be interesting to see.
I'll take him on SmackDown commentary. It's gonna be better than Cole and Graves for the rest of our life.
I'd be happy to see him doing that, but I don't know if I don't know. He's made it really clear he doesn't want to wrestle anymore, but.
Well, that's why commentary. Let him talk. Yeah. He's a talker. Oh boy, he's a talker. He called me a drug addict a few years back.
CM Punk?
Yep.
What do you mean?
I was disguised as Jeff at a show.
Oh.
So he got in my face and called me a drug addict.
Okay. Cool.
So, we're done with Punk. Let's hit Full Gear and go into the results of Full Gear. The matches were interesting. I'll give that much.
The buy-in, Dr. Britt Baker versus B. Priestley. And with a run-in by Brandy and Kong. And Baker beat Priestley. Okay, I'm not good at this. Yeah.
Was the run-in during the match or after?
I believe it was... Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, after the match.
To be honest, I'm not a big fan of this Brandy and Kong stuff. I didn't like the promo for him last week. I just thought it was a little bit too... Actually. I thought it was just a little bit too gimmicky. I don't know. Especially for like what they're trying to portray as something more like of a realistic edge to it. I just felt like it just sounded like Brandy just playing a character rather than like, actually kind of getting into her own kind of thing. But
yeah.
And it's kind of just weird. Like I don't know. I think the pairing between her and Kong is good, especially for someone like an executive. It's kind of weird though. It's weird to portray her as like I don't know if they're gonna separate her from Cody going forward because like
I think
she's
they're
kind
gonna
of taking
try.
because she's kind of taking more of a heel role, even though she attacked the heel at the pay-per-view. But yeah, I don't really like the. I just don't attack cool. The incarnation of.
Yeah, I really liked their where they were going with that, but I did not like. Not even just because it was Allie, because we love Allie, but it really had nothing to do with that. I didn't like what they did this week. I don't get why. Like, I get the hair thing, but, like, that's dumb. Because she has, like, a whole bunch of hair, and we haven't seen her wrestle that many people unless it's, like, all the people from her career, which sounds stupid. So I'm like, collecting hair from your opponents? The fuck? Right, up next, the Young Bucks. Opening up the pay-per-view, Young Bucks versus Proud and Powerful Anthony
Corelli was on this pay-per-view?
Santana and Ortiz. And the winner is Proud and Powerful. But that was a really good match. It was really, really good. Obviously, has to be expected.
Everything's back.
All right.
We are just discussing Proud and Powerful versus the Young Bucks. I thought it was a solid match to open up the pay-per-view. I didn't like, it's weird to just have like Proud and Powerful win the match, but then get attacked by the Rock and Roll Express after the match. I think it just negates the win, especially if you're trying to establish the new team that's making their stamp in a national stage. I feel like they could have done that on TV this week. I don't know if they couldn't get them, but I don't know. I thought the match was good, and I thought both teams looked really well. I think the post match they could have done without.
No, yeah, I agree. I don't think it made much sense because it's not like I would assume that AEW is not like thinking of signing Rock and Roll Express to have an actual match. So I'm like, I mean, I just saw them at NJPW, so they are doing matches, but it's still like.
I mean, Ricky Morton hit a Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah, but it was with a lot of help.
Yeah.
That was with a lot
but
of help.
He's a 63-year-old man. He still hit it.
Yeah.
It was a good match, and they're far from over, as we saw this week with the Brouhaha.
Brouhaha, brouhaha, brouhaha.
AEW loves their Brouhahas. Adam Page defeated Pac. Good match, but I'm kind of tired of seeing these two.
I'm kind of tired of seeing Pac, period.
Well, we know you, but... Like, we've seen them before, and then we had this match, and they had another match on AEW Dynamite.
I don't really get the feud. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Wasn't it originally like Pac kind of like confronted him because Adam Page wanted to be champion, and then Pac wanted to be champion, and then they were gonna have their match, but it got canceled because Pac didn't want to lose.
Pac be all like, "It should have been me."
I don't remember. I don't really think there was much of a story, though.
Pac was going to lose, but because he was the Dragon Gate champion and they didn't want him to lose while he was champion, there we go. That's what happened. So other than that, I got nothing really on that match. Shawn Spears defeats Joey Janela. Liv's reaction on that one speaks wonders.
We love Joey Janela.
Again, I'm not really one for either of the people, so I'm very sorry. I've never really seen anything from Joey that makes me like.
How? You're a Hardy Boys fan. How have you not liked anything Joey Janela has done?
I never said I didn't like anything he's done. I've said I just never really clicked to him.
Mm.
Hey, I like Dinos or Express. Come on, give me credit on that.
That's not what it's called.
Jurassic Express. The Dino Experience.
I was a very big fan of how they've been. The only thing I don't like is that they keep just doing rubber matches, and I don't like that at all. Like Joey and Shawn Spears, like just going at it weeks and weeks and weeks in a row. Stupid. But I think they're kind of losing it. Like they're getting a lot of flack for not having people's favorite people on and just kind of keeping people on the side.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that's probably why, because a lot of people are not happy that Joey Janela is not on the TV every week. Although I do agree he has a very good place on Dark because he can do whatever, like all of the stuff that he's famous for. But at the same time, I do think that he deserves TV time, so I don't know.
So, people that do get TV time, in a tag team title triple threat match, Private Party and the Lucha Bros were defeated by SCU. And we also had a return of Christopher Daniels disguised as Pentagon. And I freaking love that moment because it's always just fun, like freaking out a wrestler by seeing someone else disguised as them.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fun moment.
That's like the old Suicide costume.
Oh God!
When they did that once, that was funny.
How many Suicide Manics can we have at one time?
Too many.
So they did good, and I was glad to see SCU get to retain. I was not ready to see them lose the titles just yet. Rio defeated Emi Sakura, which again there wasn't really that much to the match, the build up or anything. Period to really get.
They had a really weird build up because of that one random match where she dressed up like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen, that's what she normally does, but...
No, when she was in Chicago, she did not dress like that.
Really?
Yeah.
But maybe it was a different Freddie Mercury outfit.
But I guess it's like she trained her, I guess. She trained
Yeah. Yeah, she was. I actually like saw this because like she actually like was putting out like tweets about like her history with Riho, and I thought like she's pretty much doing the job of the television. Like she's pretty much doing the storytelling herself, and I feel like that was kind of like they met. I think they mentioned it on TV, but they didn't make that a big point of Riho.
Yeah.
Like I don't think she's lost. She hasn't lost a singles match, I believe.
Who?
So this is Riho.
Oh yeah.
She's lost a couple of tag matches. I don't think she's been pinned, but I think it was just a failed opportunity for her to like, you know, prove herself to her master. But
I have to say, and you guys know I normally love the women's divisions, and those are what I hold high. AEW needs to work on theirs. They're trying to do something with this whole Brandy and Kong thing. They had a side rivalry going on between Britt Baker and Bea Presley. But I don't know. They don't really put much emphasis or feel like they do much effort into the women's division. And I feel like that's something they need to change. Now we're on to the double main event, where Chris Jericho defeated Cody Rhodes, so Cody can never challenge for the AEW Championship again. But I gotta say, as great as the match was, as awesome as the spots were, I think it's what happened after the match that kind of makes it all the better. But I have to agree. Be ready for it being shock on this one. I have to agree with Bully Ray. When MJF threw in a towel, it should not have been a towel. I like something I saw. MJF should have thrown in his scarf. Let that be the symbolize of Cody's loss. After he low-blowed Cody, he should have taken that scarf, patted Cody's blood all over the scarf. And then there is his ultimate heel symbol of what he did, carried with him.
He's had that same scarf since he came into the business. He's not going to ruin it with blood.
Well, then he should have gotten another scarf for the moment. But I think that I feel like Bully had a point there. That would have been so much more symbolic. And then there he would be, just carrying it around.
Where I do think that would have been cool, I think it wouldn't technically be a real, like, throwing in the towel, because they have to throw in a towel. I don't think it would.
It's a symbolic thing. It would have been symbolic enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think he could have done that anyways, without it being the actual towel, but...
Uh-huh.
I was still not ready for it. I still think it could have been built up way better. I know, I
was ready for him to be the heel.
I knew it was going to happen eventually, but I didn't think it was going to be this soon into TV. Because I think that they could have built that up a lot better on a pay-per-view. They don't have any pay-per-views coming up. For how long?
Nope.
Yeah.
No pay-per-view announced. But
and Cody is supposedly not supposed to wrestle anymore, but obviously now that they've started this,
the promo that took place the next night between Jericho and MJF,
that was amazing.
Oh my god, I loved it. So entertaining.
It's almost like your parents got horny while they were watching me beat up Juventud Guerrera 25 years ago on WCW Saturday Night, and 9 months later your little twerp ass popped out.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anyone as entertaining as him right now, honestly.
So then the main event was the lights out, unsanctioned anything goes. Let's try to kill each other match between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. Holy shit, was that brutal. Like, my back hurts watching the clips.
I thought it was a pretty interesting match. It's interesting in the case that like they're appealing now to more of a national television audience. So I wonder, like, people that are probably new to, AEW or like maybe even wrestling in general, like they see that match and, you see a match like that and wonder, like, how exactly, their interest in that would be. Because when you talk to people about like Full Gear, it's like depending on what kind of match like you're into. If you're into the hardcore death style type of match, you're probably choosing that match as your main event or that match as your favorite match. But if you're a fan of the pure wrestling, you're probably picking Cody and Jericho. So it's an interesting, and I think it also shows like different styles when you have Excalibur, like exclaiming like a beautiful piece of violence, and you just have JR just being like essentially like, what the fuck is going on here?
Man,
So,
I love JR, but there was so much botching on his part on Dynamite.
Jack Swagger or Jake Hager, he certainly got a lot of swagger.
He's got swagger. He's not swagger. He's Hager. Oh, man. Oh, man.
But I thought the main event was pretty, like, I thought it was definitely the right call to main event over the title match because there's no following, what those two did. I mean, the whole, like, the suplex onto the spider web, as they were calling it, I thought was pretty nuts. But yeah, I thought it was I thought an interesting match. I wonder if the feud's going to continue from there on because I believe one of the commentators was saying that the feud was far from over. But after a match like that, like where do you even go? Like a 40-minute match, I think, right?
You go inside whatever AEW is going to create to be Hell in the Cell.
Oh, so that can end in a double countout? Or, not double countout, disqualification? Moxley, you're better than this, Moxley. You can't do this, Moxley.
Don't do it!
But, any other thoughts on Full Gear?
It was a fun show. It was enjoyable. Probably not the best one they had this year, but definitely on to close to the top.
I agree. I think it was very low key. Besides the MJF turn, it was a kind of a low key pay-per-view. Like it was really good wrestling, just like not.
And I think that was kind of the buzz going into it. This wasn't like All Out or All Out, which I kept on saying that was the pay-per-view mistakenly. But it wasn't like All Out or Double or Nothing. This one just felt like one of those like pay-per-views that they were just essentially doing, and there wasn't like a lot of buzz for it going in and coming out of it. I mean, you wonder why the MGF they couldn't hold on that much longer, and I feel like that's pretty much one of the reasons why, because that was one of the big talking points coming out of it. So I guess they just wanted
that makes sense.
They wanted something newsworthy, and to me, it's like, and going to that as well, it's like I honestly didn't really care much for that heel turn because it's like it's one of those things where it's like it just made no sense for him to continue to align with Cody as a babyface. Like like we knew it was coming, and I felt like just get to it already because like I kind of just want to see.
They had to pull the trigger now because if they waited any longer, it wouldn't have felt quite as special.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely a good choice to do it at a pay-per-view, but I personally think it might have been a little too soon because I think it's good to build. I think it would have been good to build it up a little bit more than it was already built. But at the same time, the whole stipulation of Cody's match was that he's not supposed to wrestle again if he loses to
wrestle for the championship again.
Oh, I thought he was done.
No, he will never challenge for the AEW championship again.
But I mean, that basically means don't wrestle that much because realistically, besides a feud with MJF, what is he really going to do? if he's not going for a title.
No, he'll put younger talent over.
I guess.
Which good for Cody if that's what he chooses to do. That's what he should be doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Because he's not really in the Kenny Omega state where he can just do like all these crazy matches like Kenny's doing. So
I like the one thing I want to say as we close Dynamite this week, the loss of Jericho, with Scorpio Sky being the first person to defeat Chris Jericho in AEW.
I think that was fun. I liked that.
So I wouldn't mind seeing.
You didn't?
I didn't like it because I felt like his first loss should have been when he lost the title.
But this could be the start of it, because I wouldn't mind if they have like the Freebird rule, so all of SCU is the champions. So Daniels and Kazarian can continue on to be tag team champion. Have Scorpio Sky go on towards Chris Jericho in the AEW championship.
That'd be cool.
I would like that feud.
I would love that, but I just don't think they would do that for Scorpio Sky. I would think that'd be amazing, but I don't think, which I think it would just be a waste.
That's kind of another reason why.
It would be fun to see maybe like a downfall of Chris Jericho. Like they made so much off of his stupid little bit of the bubbly thing that they could do like a downward spiral type thing, which like a storyline, which could be cool. But I don't know if they'd think that much into it.
He threw a tantrum afterwards, so it could. So it's been a pretty slow week in wrestling. The other big news, I know, Caesar, we mentioned we would talk about it more next week, but Tessa Blanchard is officially the #1 contender for Sami Callihan's Impact World title. And the match will be taking place in January at the ironically named Hard to Kill, which I don't think there's any doubt in any of our minds that they're probably going to let Tessa win this one.
Yeah.
I hope so.
It makes sense, especially considering it's taking place in the same place where they had their first match in Dallas. So
which
I think it comes full circle.
That is the only reason right now why I will accept the fact that they even had her lose the Slammiversary and then had her lose again, is to bring it full circle now. She beats him where he first beat her.
Mm-hmm.
So I applaud for that one. If that's the case, and if they've actually had this thing booked, the venue booked since last Slammiversary, and they actually put that much thought and effort into this, I will applaud, because that is the best long-term story planning that Impact's done in I don't know how long. And then there's nothing else really big in the WWE world from London. Nothing else really exciting happened this week other than the NXT UK champion Kaylee Ray showed up on the NXT main event. Hurt my heart because she cost me the ladder match. But, my heart stopped seeing Kaylee Ray run out. Why she gotta be on the bad girl team? And then may I see the manager Bailey showed up and attacked Shayna to help. Which I love that Becky Lynch is the only one not showing up on the other shows and attacking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's her whole thing that started a year ago when, as SmackDown, she invaded Raw, got her nose busted, and you just saw her up in the crowd. Invasion's supposed to be her shit, but so far they haven't had her do anything yet.
Mm-hmm. They haven't had her do anything except for teaming with Charlotte Flair, which doesn't make it. Did they ever explain that one on Raw? Because last week it was Natalya that got the.
That Natalya could not be there for family reasons.
Oh, okay.
So.
Because apparently they also have, of course these are always subject to change, but they have listed for TLC, the arena does, the Kabuki Warriors versus Charlotte Flair and Becky in a TLC Women's Tag Team title match.
No. They need to switch that shit. Make it Natalya. I'll be okay with that. But Becky gotta defend her own title. Becky can't be worrying about that. And Charlotte doesn't need a tag team title reign to be able to be like, oh, I've held every championship now a woman can hold.
We have Survivor Series looking forward to next week, which we're going to do some predictions for. Of course, the next expected match is The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan for the championship. That one could be pretty interesting. Kind of glad we're not seeing the triple threat with the champions, Fiend, Brock Lesnar, and Adam Cole. I don't think that
would have been awesome.
That would have been bizarre. Adam Cole.
One thing that would have made it awesome.
I don't know. But since there isn't much else to discuss this week, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for checking us out this week. We hope that you join us next week for the Survivor Series chatter as we go into the pay-per-view going in that weekend in Chicago. A lot of Chicago cards happening these last couple of weeks. But
someone just returned and they're gonna have a pay-per-view in Chicago.
Yep.
Gosh.
Of course, all the chanting is going to be happening that weekend, so it'll be interesting to see if, because I think the SmackDown as well is going to be from Chicago that weekend. So it'll be interesting to see if Fox sends certain Phil Brooks there. But we'll chat about that whenever that happens, if that happens. But for now, make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you sub to the channel. Of course, Steven just uploaded the Money in the Bank Universe video. You're going to want to check that out. Go Team Red. And, of course, follow us on the socials at WRR Network FL on Twitter, at WRR Network on Instagram, Wrestling Reality Rundown on Facebook.
All right.
We will chat with you next week.
And Team Blue happens to be winning so far in the clicks and whatnot. I'm just going to throw that one out there, too.
And we will chat with you next week. Have a great day, great week. We'll chat with you then.
Be good, people. The matches were interesting. I'll give that much. I was very happy.
Someone was so excited that he broke his feed.
I'm so excited.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, I guess I can take over. Let me look up. Well.
TV, talk to us.
Punk did it.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
Gosh, my pun was so bad it shut off my Skype.
Oh, can we see you, though? Can we see you? Can we see it? Yes, I see him.
Just as I pull up mine.
Of course, Steven just uploaded the Money in the Bank Universe video. You're going to want to check that out. Go Team Blue. See you next week. Oh, Steven has something to say.
You're Team Red. I'm Team Blue.
I know that Steven uploaded a Money in the Bank Universe mode. Go Team Red.